Well, so as background, I lead the National Program Office for the National Strategy for Trusted Identities in Cyberspace,
Right.
or known as NSTIC, which was issued by President Obama back in April of 2011. So we're a little over 2.5 years in, and making good progress on a number of areas. NSTIC's a little different from some, I think, of the other programs my colleagues are leading at the table, in that it's much more focused outwardly on citizens, on businesses, on sort of changing the way that people identify themselves and authenticate online. Government adoption of these types of advanced identity solutions is certainly an important part of it. We work closely with Tom and others in government on the ICAM side to make sure that they are following the federal government's roadmap there, making use of accredited third-party credentials, and generally looking to come up with more, I guess what I would say, user-friendly ways for the citizens who are logging in to actually get into government systems rather than have to create another username and password.
Right.
But a lot of what we're really focusing on is the broader issue of the password as a major security threat. 76% of all data breaches last year, all network intrusions, were tied to the password. It's a stunning number when you look at the broader topic of cybersecurity and all of the problems and different attacks we're dealing with. You can trace back 76% of all intrusions to the existence of the password. And so a lot of what we're really looking to do is try and work in partnership not only with colleagues in government, but with folks in the private sector like Ping, like Dell, like we have a privately led steering group that has more than 200 member companies right now to try and come up with a framework to actually drive broader adoption of multi-factor authentication so that a few years from now, when you're sitting here, say, on your tablet and going to a new website, you don't have to create another username and password. You have something else that's stronger, that's more secure, it's easier to use, and it's also privacy enhancing in terms of the amounts of information that you have to share to complete a transaction. So that steering group's doing great. It just incorporated about a month ago as a 501c3 not-for-profit corporation. This is after NIST basically funded its creation with a grant for 2 years, and they'll continue to move to being more independent over the next year. We have a dozen pilots that are active right now across the country, testing different types of advanced identity and authentication solutions. And perhaps most notably for this crowd, since we are on Federal News Radio, the implementation of the Federal Cloud Credential Exchange, or FSIX as it's known, is moving quickly forward. The Postal Service awarded the contract late this summer.
I've been reading about that.
And it's something that we think will really be a force multiplier for both agencies looking to leverage credentials that they don't issue that come from outside, commercial or in some cases nonprofit providers. When you look at the university system, as well as make it much easier for the citizen to use a credential they already have when they come into government websites. So we can talk a little bit more about that as the show goes on.
We'll talk when we get into the benefits
excited.
section. Talk a little bit